The moon hung low in the ink-black sky, casting eerie shadows on the empty highway. Sarah gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles turning white as she drove alone through the desolate stretch of road. The dashboard clock read 2:37 a.m., and fatigue had started to seep into her bones after hours of driving. She had embarked on this journey to visit her parents, but now, the isolation of the night made her uneasy. Sarah's headlights cut through the darkness, illuminating the narrow road ahead. The rhythmic hum of the engine was the only sound that pierced the silence. As she drove, her mind wandered, and she found herself lost in her thoughts. Suddenly, a pair of glaring headlights appeared in her rear-view mirror, blinding her momentarily. Glancing back, she saw a sleek black sedan, tailgating her aggressively. Fear tightened her chest as she tried to maintain her composure. She signaled to change lanes, hoping the aggressive driver would pass. But the car mirrored her every move, staying dangerously close. Unease settled in her stomach like a heavy stone. Who could be on this desolate road at this hour, driving with such malevolent intent? Sarah's heart raced as she considered her options. The nearest town was miles away, and her phone had no signal. She decided to accelerate, hoping to lose the menacing presence behind her. With each passing mile, the black sedan stayed relentless, its headlights casting sinister glares into her rearview mirror. Panic welled within her, and she realized she needed help. Spotting a dimly lit gas station up ahead, Sarah pulled in, praying for the presence of other people. The black sedan followed suit, pulling into the gas station lot behind her. Trembling, she parked her car and quickly locked the doors. Gathering her courage, she decided to confront the driver, hoping to defuse the situation. As she stepped out of her car, she saw a tall figure emerging from the black sedan. The stranger wore a long, dark coat that billowed in the night wind, obscuring their features. A chill ran down Sarah's spine as she approached, her voice quivering as she asked, "Can I help you? Why have you been following me?" The stranger remained silent, their face hidden in the shadows. The gas station's flickering fluorescent lights cast an eerie glow, revealing a sinister smile creeping across their lips. Sarah's instincts screamed at her to flee, but her legs felt like lead, rooted to the spot. Just then, a flicker of movement caught her eye. Glancing past the stranger, she noticed another figure lurking in the darkness, their eyes glinting malevolently. It was as if the night itself had spawned these ominous figures, ready to engulf her. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Sarah turned and sprinted back to her car. Slamming the door shut, she peeled out of the gas station, the black sedan following in hot pursuit. Desperation pushed her to drive faster, the headlights of the menacing car dancing in her rearview mirror like demonic eyes. The road stretched endlessly before her, winding through dense woods that seemed to swallow her in their obsidian depths. Sarah's mind raced, considering her options. She couldn't outrun the pursuers forever, and the isolation of the forest made her vulnerable. The only chance she had was to find a place to hide. Spotting an old, dilapidated house at the side of the road, Sarah made a split-second decision. She swerved off the highway and into the overgrown driveway, hoping the strangers would pass by. The house loomed before her, its windows boarded up, and an overwhelming sense of dread settled over her. Ignoring her instincts, screaming at her to drive on, Sarah left her car and approached the decaying structure. The front door creaked open, revealing a pitch-black interior. Armed with nothing but a small flashlight from her glove compartment, she ventured inside, praying for refuge. The air inside the house was stale and suffocating. Cobwebs hung like shrouds, and the floorboards groaned under Sarah's weight. She tiptoed through the darkness, her flashlight's beam revealing fragments of forgotten lives. A dusty family portrait, a child's broken doll, remnants of a life that once thrived in this desolate place. Finding a small room with a door that still closed, Sarah barricaded herself inside. She huddled in the corner, clutching her flashlight like a lifeline, and tried to steady her rapid breathing. The minutes stretched into agonizing hours as she listened intently for any signs of the intruders. Eventually, the distant sound of footsteps echoed through the house. The strangers were searching for her. Sarah held her breath, praying they wouldn't find her hiding place. Shadows danced on the walls as the intruders moved closer, their voices murmuring indistinctly. In the stifling darkness, Sarah felt a bead of cold sweat trickle down her spine. She gripped her flashlight tighter, ready to defend herself if necessary. The footsteps grew louder, approaching the room where she hid. Her heart pounded in her chest like a drum, drowning out all other sounds. The door creaked open, and a sliver of light pierced the darkness. Sarah's breath caught in her throat as she aimed her flashlight toward the intruders, revealing their malevolent faces twisted in sinister grins. Just as fear threatened to consume her, she heard the distant wail of sirens, growing louder with each passing moment. The strangers froze, their expressions contorting with rage and frustration. They exchanged hurried glances before fleeing into the night, leaving Sarah alone in the darkness. The police arrived moments later, their presence bringing a sense of safety to the once haunted house. As Sarah stepped out into the cold night air, she clung to the officers, her legs weak from the ordeal. The nightmare was over, but the memory of that fateful night would haunt her forever. She had survived the night drive, escaping the clutches of malevolent strangers and finding sanctuary in the most unexpected of places.